call to order. Adoption of agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
Can I get a seconder? I'll second.
Your worship,
Discussion?
can I add something to the agenda, please?
Okay.
I'd like to add the school district 59 situation with the loss of room at the school and the problem we're having.
Okay, where do you want that at?
4.2.
Can I add an item as well, please?
You can.
And just bubbled up here today, we've been monitoring the weather, and I'd just like to have a discussion with council about Canada Day, should the weather not be agreeable that day.
4.3, good?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So, adoption of minutes? None? All in favor? None? New business recommendation?
4.1, the council approved a budget increase for line 31 at the 2018-2002 capital and special project list. Land acquisition from the current set 57,000.
You're
Sorry.
reading the totally
I'm
different
on the
one.
wrong one.
Where are we?
Sorry, the wrong one. When I said 4.2, you guys didn't say anything. Wrong one.
Well, it is.
No, this is the in camera.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay, it's after, right after this.
Okay.
Okay, get ready.
My apologies. So we're wrong. Where are we?
Recommend that council adopts 2017 Statement of Financial Information Report, SOFI report.
I'll second. Any discussion? Parker. I have concerns about the SOPI report. The expenses. Now, I realize the mayor went on trips this year that we don't normally have in the agenda. You went to PEI, you went to Ottawa, you went to Victoria a couple of times, or Halifax. So that would be up. But Andre, yours is even higher than hers.
Let's-
For $12,000, how has the residents benefited by you, for that expense? Can you give me
$12,000. Where do you get $12,000 from?
expenses?
11,867?
Yeah, oh, close to 12.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I was going to ask that same question. I don't know where this expense is coming from. Is that expenses of me going
Per
on
diem.
trips or?
Your worship, yeah, thank you. That's everything that was logged in the Mesa County system under your vendor number, Councilor Levois.
So that's your benefits, that's your.
No,
No.
no, this is just his
No,
per diem.
that's- we separated benefits. out.
It's not his per diem, it's just his expenses.
Yep,
Yeah,
that
which
that
is
would
per diem.
include per
Which is
diems,
Oh,
yeah, per diems,
sorry.
registration fees, travel expenses, meals, and mileage.
But not my payment, not my remuneration.
No, remuneration is in it, so there's 3 columns there, folks. We've got the remuneration one, the expense column, and then the benefits.
I can't answer that without checking what I've been doing. I mean,
So
obviously,
Andre's been doing meetings with Lorraine,
yes, I have at the beginning.
At the beginning we did.
yeah. And he goes out of town to the site C, he goes and does health, he
It must
does,
be what it is, yeah.
he does a lot of stuff.
I know,
That shows
but-
that I do a lot of stuff. So I mean, for you to come around and tell me what did I do for the residents,
You know what
I don't
it
agree
is.
with that because these were approved by council. These were approved.
I agree,
So why
I
would you
agree.
be bringing it back? Because that doesn't make sense.
All I'm asking is, it stands
It's
up,
even
it's
more than
going,
later for Pete's sakes.
that's right, so I'm asking
Okay.
you, as a resident, for almost $12,000, how do you feel that this has benefited the residents? That's all I'm asking.
Okay, that's fine. So I attended the poll forum in Tumblr Ridge that I recall. I went toward the UBCM, so that's part of this
You
obviously.
also went for me to the
Correct.
George
Correct.
Resource Forum.
Went to that, that's correct. Part of that was my own expense for the first day, so that I could attend the Northwest Freight Trust thing. The medical trust, I attended that on my own
Medical
time.
trust, I
I
understand.
never charged anything, plus I only stayed an extra day, less a day, on that Prince George trip, which I was
So
supposed to stay.
Andre
an
just
extra day.
got banged for buck because he has his.
I've been very busy, and that shows actually the fact that I've been busy.
Exactly.
And that's all for the residents, it's not for Andre or what, just so you know.
I know, but I just the coal and the resources, like, I'm
There's
trying
more.
to,
Sightsee?
I'm just trying to be
Mhm.
what a resident may ask.
By all means.
How would that benefit the residents? Poos Coal Forum, resources, yes, hospital, 100%, because we are really trying to, you know what I mean, get our
Oscar does a
hospital.
lot for the community.
This is 2017 too, right? It's last year. It's not this year.
Okay,
We're already
I just
making-
thought I'd ask.
No, I have no problem, if you want, I've got a little book right here. And I can pick up my book from last year, and I can tell you everything that I've been at, if you like.
That's fine, Andre. Okay,
Okay.
so recommendation, any other questions? Is there any other questions? All in favor? Recommendation,
Recommend the council adopt the 2017 annual report.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Andre, your
Okay,
turn.
so we're gonna bring that up, okay. Let me just read here, some of you didn't hear this. So I called Wayne after the meeting that the school district had, we did the delegation of the school district, I think it was the same afternoon actually, or actually the next day, it was like Thursday. And I got the cell phone from our CEO here, who said, if you wanna call Wayne, call him. And I realized that at the time I didn't call him, but I wish I would have, because then when I met, I could have had more information to give you guys. But he says, okay, and this is to the CEO who's asked me to give him this information so that he wanted to put in his report possibly. So Wayne said to me, has been working hard for the past 2 years trying to get something done about adding space for the school. In the past, was asked to make presentation to council, School District 59 update, never asked by present council, and that's the reason why he says he's never presented this. I've checked out availability reportables, he has. Government using them all for Vancouver area for homeless people at this time. Camp trailers are all being used in Fort Mac after fire, apparently they were a dime a dozen before, and he says you can't get any of those either because they're all in Fort Mac because of the situation there. Government has no money for schools in North, that's what they were told. Example, Chetwynd needs a new school and told it will be 10 to 15 years before any money is available. And I believe there was an article in the last year that they're going to close all the schools. Maybe a year away, but. Over 1 million, I think it was 1.5 or something, I couldn't remember the exact number point, but it's over $1 million that were cut out of their budget last year by the government. They discussed their budget that day that we did our delegation, and he said, that was yesterday, the day before, right? And it's all online if you want to have a look at it, Chris. So I don't know if you did that, Chris, but it was all online, and you could look, as a CFO, you could figure it all out, and the figures speak for themselves. The whole board made a visit to Pooscoopi School that same morning that we did the delegation. Wayne, not the board, he's speaking now, as he has not taken this to them at this point. He suggests we as council go see the library as an area with a wall behind, a wall being built could possibly add a temporary classroom for September 2018. Library would have to lose some space. He believes that if we're willing to work together, this could work as a temporary fix.
Temporaries never seem to be
Yeah,
temporary.
there's
They always
no
be
space
temporary.
there.
I'm just saying what he said. This is strictly what he said. I'm not putting any words out of this. So, and then I said maybe we could go this afternoon and go look at it. And I mentioned that in the message to Chris. Then I remembered a couple other things he mentioned. So I said, hey Chris, forgot to mention Doki School, portable brought in, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, costed $450,000 to add a portable to the Doki School. Also that even though Wayne is not running again, which I had mentioned to you guys that morning, he's not running again, he will work with us till October when his term is done. He's only taking a couple weeks in the summer for holidays, so he'd be available to help us out. That's what I have to present. And I just want to, I guess I'm just going to say this now. The mayor sent me a text here. Your worship, you sent me a text just the other day saying that I received a complaint through another person for one young woman who has a child, kindergarten child, who did talk to the school district. I don't want to mention the name of who they talked to.
There was 2 kids.
Okay, maybe there's 2 kids, I'm not sure. I did discuss this with this lady, I'm not gonna mention the name, but the fact is, the mayor feels I should have no right to do that because didn't have permission from council. The fact is, she was very upset with what the school district told her, and all I did was pick up the phone and say, and let her know that we're aware of the situation and we're working to try to fix it.
She already
No
did that.
promises, no mention of
No,
what I
because
just
the
read.
only thing I have concerned about, Andre, is the fact that you're picking up the phone and just phoning Jennifer, you're phoning Mike, or, Wayne.
I don't see a problem with that, I'm an
But I
elected
can't even
official.
write a letter.
No, this is
Yes,
different
it's the
than
same.
writing a letter.
No, council should have the say, if you pick up a phone, I was waiting for the letter to come back from the board
I
before
brought-
I talked to Wayne.
This is,
This is why council needs to be involved. Nobody knows who's in the loop.
that's fine, all I'm saying is, if this is wrong, I want clarification, okay?
Yes, and that's why we're here at council, right now. Colleen.
Our job as counselors, we are elected as counselors to talk to the people that live in the village of Moose, hear the concerns, take the concerns, try to, make it, and we can search and do our own things. We don't have to, but we do bring it back to council, and that is our job, that's why we're elected,
No,
and that's why.
Not picking up the phone.
Yes,
no, it's
yeah.
not.
Where does it say?
Where does it say that you guys have to approve the letters
We
that I
are
write?
elected officials.
Okay,
Our
so-
job is to look after the residents of Coos in the way that we see fit.
Okay, so you're saying to me that it's okay for me to bring back the letters for you guys to read before I send them out, but it's okay for you guys to pick up the phone and talk to Wayne or important people. That's okay.
We can talk to whoever we want.
So I can write a letter to whoever
No,
I
you
want.
can't. With a stationery, you cannot.
But I can write a letter. Yeah. Anyway, Bart, let's get back on track. I would like to make a suggestion to council that we invite Wayne to our next council meeting to discuss the strategy, i.e. if our students, is the families gonna be split up? 3 kids already going to Boost and 1 not they're full? We wanna know that. We want to know the ones that are going to have to be bused to town, are they going to be bused directly to the school that they're going to be attending? Little things like that. What is their goals? Like you say, they're looking for a add-on. I want to hear what his proposal is to the library. Yes, a temporary classroom, but where are they going to put those books or those shelves? Where are they going to store all that? Like,
So you can't know that.
we need to sit down with Wayne to find out what they're doing. Just so that we have that information. Is there any possibility that, or that students that live within the boundaries of Poos or get to go to Poos, anyone beyond those boundaries are the ones that will have to go to town?
And Mike Reedman has those figures to see.
And this is what we need to discuss with Wayne.
I would agree, 100%.
Colin?
Just the only reason that we're having these issues with the school is because of the teachers changed their contract. And the contract has reduced the size of the class. So this problem wasn't a problem before because we had lots of space.
For the
In the
NP.
school.
2 years.
Wow.
Is
Okay,
what
so
Wayne's
so
saying.
2 years the school's been working on this for 2 years? Or Wayne has,
Wayne has.
not the school.
No, Wayne has, he has been, that's
So
what he
now,
said.
because of the school and the teacher's contract, now our children have to be moved. And now we have to give up half of our library because of the
Yes,
school?
That's what we need to discuss.
I know, but I don't agree.
I don't agree either.
But I know, like, we need to find a fix, but I don't think taking away from Peter to give to Paul is the reason. I don't think that solves anything.
I'm just passing on information, and because he said council has to decide what they want to do here, I have to bring it to you guys.
No,
So that's what I'm
and
doing.
you not
I agree.
fundraise, like getting Canada to help us with some money, get the oil companies to buy one of them things and have it manufactured.
There isn't any available,
But you can have it manufactured.
well, you have to get them built.
According to Mike Reedman, that they were having one, but one by September 2019. So is one already being made? Nobody knows. You
See,
get one
that-
thing from
okay,
Wayne, you get one thing from Reedman, you get, Herb Notes might have one sitting out there where Joey lives, I see a bunch of trailers out.
There's 2 of them sitting on the corner in Innisfil at my daughter's school.
Exactly.
There is. and I
Do
don't
they
know
want
how it is.
Is there available?
I don't know, I know that they don't use them at the school, but she's in Innisfil. There's 2 empty
But-
ones sitting there.
Okay.
Let's turn every rock over and find out what the solution is. Like,
Mhm.
whether we need to find, what are they looking for? Maybe just people we know we can find something.
Do we have it, we don't have it in the budget to be able to put a, buy one,
Donations.
yeah, or get somebody to buy that for us? Chris?
Well,
Like if that Ennisville ones are for sale?
in our budget at the moment, your worship, no, but, you know, council could certainly pass a motion to, you know, put some dollars in the budget for something like that. Yeah, I think the first step in the process, I like the idea of Councillor Smith's, motion here to invite Wayne in, you know.
But we have till
Otherwise,
September.
otherwise we're kind of shooting in the.
When are we doing it?
You know.
Like next meeting?
The next meeting is July 18th, so yeah, if you.
See, that's even pushing it. Yeah. Is there any possible to do it earlier?
Special meeting.
I think we should have a special meeting.
Yeah, so do
I
I.
really
This is an
do.
emergency,
It is.
dire
The way can
straits.
be here maybe very quickly, maybe
Friday.
next week or whenever. Just have to call him and ask him. Because he's taking holidays, and if that's the time he's taking holidays, he won't even be available. Right? I don't know.
Give him a phone call, that's all.
Could you
Yeah.
give him a phone
Is
call,
that the,
please,
is that the
Chris?
motion? Phone
I'm
call?
sure we have him come talk to us because he
Invite.
wants us to be on board, so he's gonna
We'll
give us.
make the motion that we invite Wayne in for a special meeting.
One second.
All in favor? 4.3, Chris.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So Canada Day, we've been, of course, monitoring the weather here. It's not looking good for this week. Multiple weather service apps, agencies are calling for catastrophic rain all weekend.
Oh, no.
A lot of the stuff we've ordered isn't refundable. Some of the companies have said they'd give us a credit towards next year or, you know, another small discount, but,
But can't we have it when it's nicer out?
that's part of the discussion with you guys today.
How do you do that? It's a day off, it's a
Yeah,
holiday.
and that's it. Do we want to
Sunday.
reschedule Canada Day to the
August.
following weekend or?
August long weekend?
Forget some of this stuff.
I mean, it has been postponed before.
You can, has it? Have you canceled Canada Day?
And to Sandy's point here, some of the stuff we have coming to this event, we booked it 6-7 months ago.
Bouncy castles won't be able to come at the last minute.
And the bouncy castles, the stages, the tents, and the bands are the big primary concern. If it's raining, those bands, of course, are fully electrified. It's generators.
So do we do 24 hours refund or 24 hours notice or
And
to let them know?
That's what I'm wondering, your worship. At the end of the day, this is your guys' event. It's your Canada Day, so.
Previous experience with the one day we had, one time we had to cancel it. Why don't we have a plan B where we've already paid for the bands, we're not gonna get our money back, is maybe have a community dance in the community center, with, you know what I mean, they can have their food trucks out there, move it, we can cancel the parade, that's, you know what I mean.
Well, the parade should go, I think people could throw us up, but I agree with you, putting inside the hall.
Just, we got our community center, get the bands, get them to play the same time.
On the day out, guys, or?
On the day,
just move
if it's raining,
everything
move
in
it in. You may have to say the food trucks, or, people can run outside to the food trucks and buy food and then just come in for the music and the visiting, you know what I mean, and the tables, it's a visiting time anyway.
We could look at it, but I don't even know what the approved capacity is. What's the capacity in the community?
250.
200?
Yeah, but you just don't have the doors open, people are gonna flow in and out, you're not gonna
But
sit
if it's
there.
raining, people aren't gonna come out.
Yeah,
And the food vendors are not gonna wanna be out there in the rain.
But then if they don't come, then we don't have the numbers, but they'll still be the people that'll come to listen to the music and have the visit. They'll take a cruise out, whether they stay an hour or 15 minutes or whatever.
I mean, it's possible, guys, but at this stage of the game, to try and shift it from an outdoor to an indoor event is, I've basically got to drop everything I'm doing and we got to try and figure this out.
all you have to move inside is the bands.
Whether or not that's even possible, Councillor,
Right.
Evans, I don't know.
They have a stage.
But does the power line up? Is the school board okay with us putting bands in there and 200 people?
It's on a
What's-
weekend though.
What's the fire code? I mean, we're talking about a municipal building and you're suggesting to leave the door open to as many people. We have a maximum
We've done it
capacity
before.
from a fire code.
We've had events in there before. You put the band and you open the door and people flow in and out, and
Certainly, Councillor Evans, but with 3 days of planning, that's not a lot of time.
I don't see the difference of having it outside and then setting up and having it inside. You're not bringing anything else other than the band inside. And then everybody else is still outside.
I don't know. I just think, whatever, it doesn't matter to me, I'll just attend.
If that's the motion, your worship, then, you know.
Will we still have the parade in the rain?
It's up to you guys. It's your.
It's not gonna
event,
pour.
So I don't know.
Like, is it gonna pour?
People are gonna have umbrellas, people are gonna have tents, people are gonna set up and they're gonna be prepared for the weather. If they're doing it, I don't think it'd be,
The last forecast.
Have you actually had a
was,
conversation, Sandy, with the vendors? And what have they come back and said?
Have I talked to the vendors? No.
No?
I've kind of been out of the Canada Day thing.
Oh.
But I've read some contracts, like for the party zone, for the bouncy castles. We can give 24 hours notice and still retain
Correct.
a credit to use next year, or whenever we choose. If we cancel the day of, I think we still get the credit. They can cancel, more than likely if it's raining on the Saturday, I'm sure we're gonna get a phone call saying we're not coming to set up. Because they won't put those 7 blow-ups up, because then they have to charge us, there's a fee for drying out. So if they set it up and it gets wet, it's a liability thing, it's a safety issue, but then their stuff is also getting ruined. That's why they took it down so fast last year, is because, and we still had to pay for 1 day of drying out last year, which in the end we didn't have to pay, but it was a mechanical bull, but.
So this is all just, you know, sort of theoretical right now, folks, but as it stands, the Weather Network app is calling for 40% chance of rain Friday, 40% chance.
40 I don't worry about, when it says 60, I worry.
Go ahead, hang on, your worship. 40% on Saturday, 60% chance of severe thunder showers on Sunday, 60% chance of thunder showers on Monday.
We better do something.
I think we better now.
Well, and it'd be premature to cancel
We've
it
never
now,
canceled.
but I need to know our ability to cancel it,
Isn't
you
it
know,
right?
Friday night.
I think we could put the bands inside. I think that people are gonna come and show up regardless. The bands are about the only, like the bouncy castles, maybe cancel them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But
So that's the
You can
draw for
still
the
have-
children.
That's the draw.
But you
Your-
can
your
still have
biggest
the bands.
You're not gonna bring your kids out if
You're
there's
not
no
if there's
bouncy
thunderstorms and
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, and that's
If
it.
there's thunderstorms, no way. I'm not frickin', I don't wanna be responsible for anybody getting electrocuted. I've seen people get electrocuted.
And we don't even know if the community center's booked for something else on Saturday or not at this point.
It's
We're
just
sure
gonna
it's
get,
not.
it's gonna get worse is what's happening.
I know, but my gosh, this is the Poo Scoopies event.
Oh, I
We can't
know.
cancel it, like,
We
well,
did
it's,
that.
it's people are party to come out at 40 below for the winter festival.
But it's
You know, have
dry.
some rain, it's 40 below.
But it's dry, people are used to that.
I don't,
And
I don't agree with canceling it.
for the record too, folks, I'm very, very concerned about moving something like that into a community center
The
without being
vans.
able to police the number of people in there. We're running a very serious fire risk.
Can we
and
call
fire hazard.
Blair over here?
He's off.
If he's the fire marshal.
I don't think we're gonna get anywhere too close to 200 people in there while the bands are playing. I really don't, because like you said, it's raining, we're gonna have a smaller crowd, but at least we'll have some people.
Well,
I don't think
a
we even
letter
have
on
the parade
Facebook
if
there.
it's thunderstorms.
If thunderstorms in all likelihood.
Put a hangout on Facebook. Do people, if it continues to rain, will people still attend Canada Day celebration?
But people are gonna say, what is there at Canada Day, right?
Yeah.
So what are we gonna say, it's just gonna be the bands?
Well,
And food,
vendors,
because the food trucks will still run.
vendors and band.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
No, we don't know that.
Why, they run all the time in the rain.
We have no ability to force them
Oh
to
my
come out.
gosh.
Councillor Evans. Like, we can't call a food vendor and say you have to be here. if
No,
thunderstorms
but
or not.
I'm pretty sure people are they're making their own money, are they not?
But why would they come if it's a thunder shower day? There's no money to be made. There's going to be no one there.
No,
Can
I
you-
can't see.
We can phone the vendors and see if it's raining, if they're still willing to come out.
The bats might not even wanna come in,
Yeah.
go to the community
And
hall.
that's it, we're talking about moving.
That's what I'm
we don't know
saying,
if the
phone
bands are
everybody
ready.
and see if they're willing to come and do it. If they're willing to come and do it, then well, I guess we'll have to hold it. If not, then we don't.
And I think we need more info. Okay.
So I'll let everybody, I'll let
So, that's a
everybody-
motion, everybody agree? All in favor?
You wanna do a second?
Who made the motion?
Seconder, sorry, Andrew.
Lorraine.
I'll second.
Huh?
Lorraine made the motion.
I'll second.
The council adopt the recommendation. Oh, great.
Aye.
We have to move to in camera.
I make a motion to move to in camera.
Well, second?
All in favor? Oh.